Alright, good morning to those in the Philippines, Taiwan, China, and parts of the Ryukyu and Sakishima Islands of Japan. Today we're going to be again discussing Typhoon Fung-wong, also known as Uwan, in the Philippines. I'm going to share the stream on other social media platforms, and then we will get started in discussing the remaining impacts it will bring to portions of the Philippines, again, portions of China and Hong Kong, as well as the entirety of Taiwan and the Ryukyu and Sakishima Islands of Japan. Hopefully this will be the last stream. Probably not, though. Probably we're going to have another one either tomorrow or the day after. Okay, let me just verify if the chat's working here. Typhoon Lover is in the chat. There we go. Of course, once again. Hello, Typhoon Lover. You've seen me grow so much recently. Thank you so much for the support. Alright, now let's get into it. And Mammerge is also in the chat. Alright, so now discussing the forecast. It has weakened significantly after making landfall in the Philippines as a Category 3 or 4. It is still a Category 1 typhoon, and it is expected to remain that intensity for at least the next 36 hours, as it curves gradually more northwards in the South China Sea. It is expected to gradually weaken after the 24-hour point, becoming a low-end typhoon by hour 36, a tropical storm, likely a severe tropical storm by hour 48, and then a weak tropical storm by the time it makes landfall by hour 60. By hour 72, this would be day 3. It is expected to be a post-tropical cyclone after it emerges in around the East China Sea or just northeast of Taiwan and around the Sakishima Islands of Japan. It is then expected to dissipate by around day 4 or 5. So again, it's only a 3-day forecast right now. Now let's talk impacts. Marginal impacts are expected for a majority of Luzon and Mindoro. They are in that marginal category of impacts, of additional impacts that are remaining for the system. Again, you've already gone through pretty much all of it if you're south of this red line here. In terms of Hong Kong and Guangdong and Fujian provinces of China, in eastern China, they are in a marginal impact category, as well as the entirety of Taiwan and the Ryukyu and Sakishima Islands of Japan, the Babuan Islands and Batanes and Babuan Islands of the Philippines are also in that marginal category of additional impacts remaining. Upping it now to slight impacts, there is going to be slight impacts expected for portions of western Luzon. This does include Ilocos Norte, Apayao, Abra, Ilocos Sur, Kalinga Mountain Province, Ifugao, and then also portions of eastern portions of central Luzon, including Nueva Vizcaya, Carino, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, as well as parts of far northern, or just this region, okay. And then also portions of Pangasinan, Benguet, Tarlac and Zambales are also in that, and Pampanga maybe, in that slight category. And also portions of western Mindoro is in that slight category of impacts. Also the east coast of Taiwan is in a slight or more in terms of the impact category, and parts of the Ryukyu Islands are also in the slight risk. Mainly for rainfall. I know it looks a little bit absurd. Why are they in the slight category when the storm's going to be over here? Just the rainfall, as it's going to become a large frontal system, so it will be dumping rain there. Now, in terms of moderate impacts, additional moderate impacts are expected for the coast of the Philippines, mainly the coast of Ilocos Sur, La Union, as well as Pangasinan, are expected to see additional moderate impacts from the system, mainly because they're experiencing typhoon force winds. Along the eastern coast of Taiwan as well, there's that moderate impact category. Now, stepping it up to major impacts, what areas are expected to see major impacts? Well, it does include the eastern coast of Taiwan, mainly due to the flash or gradual flooding. Again, as the system is going to be located right around here, it is going to be then dumping heavy rainfall because of this counterclockwise flow of the winds, and so it just basically pushes up the mountainous terrain of eastern Taiwan, and that's why they're expected to see over 400 millimeters of potential rainfall there. Alright, nowhere is expected to see the possibility of catastrophic impacts, fortunately. We're now getting downgraded from that, okay? But still, areas expect to see major impacts, so we are continuing to cover the system. I did want to briefly discuss what those impacts mean. So if you're in the marginal category, think for example Hong Kong, expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. Now about slight impacts, think about the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, and portions of the Philippines, mainly like Kalinga, Abra, those areas, and central Luzon. They are expected to get noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. Now, for portions of Ilocos La Union, and Pangasinan, they're in that moderate category. So, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. And then the major impact category, this is going to be for the east coast of Taiwan. It's not really the winds, it's going to be life threatening flooding in vulnerable areas. Over 300 millimeters of rain is forecasted for the east coast of Taiwan. Fortunately, we're not looking at catastrophic impacts from the system, additional catastrophic impacts. Right now, I did want to discuss the overview of the world right now. Fortunately, there's pretty much nothing going on besides Typhoon Fung-wong. Winds of 90 miles an hour, high in Category 1. We already discussed where that system's going, and really, there's only one disturbance here. Now, that tropical depression has dissipated, and now there's only a 10% chance that another area of interest tries to form in here. Could become a system near Australia as it meanders around here. I've seen more of the Google AI Ensemble members start picking that up, and the European AI model start picking that up. So that may be something we'll need to be watching over a week from now. So fortunately, we will have a break, a little bit of a break after Fung-wong, at least a long break before another major threat happens. Again, we are code purple, the highest code level still for Typhoon Fung-wong, but that will likely be going down by tomorrow. So again, less streams. As I can see, there's not many people watching the stream, and that makes sense because again, it's not as much of a threat anymore to the Philippines. In terms of typhoon preparedness checklist, if you are in, let's see, if you are in Taiwan, you should already be pretty much hunkered down. Just be prepared for the heavy rainfall to continue. Again, you guys have mostly done your preparations so far. Again, be sure to follow me on another social media platform if you haven't already. And then let's look at some of the satellite imagery on the storm. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit out of date. I'll refresh it. Just because this is from my last stream. So again, it's a pretty large system, and as you can see, the outflow is even reaching portions of Hong Kong. If you're in Hong Kong and you're seeing some wispy upper level clouds, like clouds very high up, looking a bit wispy, that is going to be from the typhoon. Even in Hainan Island, getting some of that outflow. The storm is now beginning to turn more northwards. It is firing more convection on the southwestern side after being completely shattered from Luzon. Now taking a look at the latest infrared imagery. I'll get this refreshed. On there again, a convective burst on the southwestern side, so it's trying to recover. But again, really, the core is just completely shattered. It's opening right now, and that's going to be sucking in some dry air, which should prevent much re-intensification at all. In terms of sea surface temperatures, we can load this up. Sea surface temperatures are going to be around at 28 to 29 degrees Celsius as of right now, but it is going to be cooling as it gets closer and closer to Taiwan, down to the 27 to 28 degrees Celsius range. Let's look at the environment that the system is going to be going through. All right, in terms of the environments, it is expected to be in around moderate shear right now, and it is going to be remaining in moderate shear up until it makes landfall in Taiwan and then starts becoming a post-tropical cyclone. Sea surface temperatures are going to be a little bit in the moderate range before then potentially dipping down into the low category by the time it makes landfall in Taiwan. Dry air is going to become more and more of an issue as it continues to move away from the Philippines, before then really becoming a problem after it exits Taiwan. In terms of distances, how far away is it from certain provinces in the Philippines, and how far away is it from China and Taiwan? We can take a look at that on here. So are they forecasting re-intensification? No, they aren't. Okay, good. So in terms of distances, it's roughly around 86 kilometers away from Pangasinan, around 107 away from Pangasinan, around 114 kilometers away from Ilocos Sur, and around 180 kilometers away from Ilocos Norte. Looking at Zambales, it's also around 130 kilometers away there. Metro Manila is around 315 kilometers away. And the coast of Taiwan is now down to 570 kilometers away. Hong Kong is 800 kilometers away from Typhoon Fung-wong. And Guangdong and Fujian province around the border there, it looks to be around 767 kilometers away. The Sakishima Islands of Japan down to 960 kilometers away, and the Ryukyu Islands down to 1,400 kilometers away. It's 5.25 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support recently. I really appreciate it. We're now a quarter of the way from getting from 5K to 6K. Let's take a look at the latest hurricane models and what they are showing the system will be doing now that it has exited. It has exited the Philippines. The HWRF model run is not really showing much intensification. Maybe in around 24 hours or so it tries to reach a brief secondary peak, but it will be continuing to weaken and then get shattered when it makes landfall in Taiwan there, potentially as a, let's see, there is a tropical storm. Yeah, tropical storm or so. And look at the heavy rain happening portions of the Philippines right now in those mountainous terrain. Looking at the HAFS A model run, does it show re-intensification? No, but it does have it making, just skimming the west coast of Taiwan there. Still as a tropical cyclone before then becoming frontal. I'm curious, how strong does it have it as? It has it as a typhoon, potentially clipping the west coast of Taiwan. I'm not quite sure that will verify. Again, I do believe it's going to be a little bit more on the eastern side and a much weaker system. I'm more on the Google AI ensemble member in terms of its mean. I don't really think it's going to move to the west, but that's a possibility. They are in the forecast cone that it could move to the west. But again, no marginal impacts for the west coast of Taiwan, but that could get upped to slight or maybe even moderate category if it's looking more likely it will be making landfall as a severe tropical storm or typhoon. Okay. That's a look at the latest model runs, and I would be curious to see what the next system after this one, the tropical wave that's going to be impacting the Philippines next, if that's going to look like anything on here. And okay, this becomes a frontal mess. But if this case were to verify, then yeah, this would slam into Alaska as a powerful post-tropical cyclone. Regardless, it looks like they're going to get impacted pretty severely. I'm not really seeing much on that next tropical wave. Can't really zoom out that far on here. Right, but yeah, dry air will be impacting the system. It looks like it's already potentially going to be entraining dry air over the next 24 hours before it maybe tries to form a more solid core, getting into a better moisture pocket here before then shear tears it apart. Alright, skipping through the other model runs and going now towards the European AI model. That's going to be something I'm interested to see what it wants. Here in the Western Pacific, and then taking a look at where the system's located at. Yeah, again, regardless, it looks like a post-tropical, potentially hurricane force or typhoon force system will be slamming into Alaska there in the Alachua Islands. Now, I did want to mention, though, there is a signal now for very heavy rainfall to be impacting Vietnam over the next few days or so. I've been noticing that recently. Oh, there's another system there. Yeah, pretty much this tropical wave that's going to be approaching the Philippines, entering the South China Sea, is expected to dump very heavy rain across the coast of Vietnam. So that's going to be something to be concerned about. I'm curious how much rainfall is actually being forecasted there. I'm going to pull this up on my laptop. Please zoom out a bit. Because that is a decent amount of rain for an AI model. Showing that. I mean, it's supposed to be on the lower end. Let me see what the European model is forecasting. Holy, 76 inches of rain. Wow. Alright. That is insane. And that's really within the next, let's see, how many is within the next 10 days? 36 inches or so. So 3 feet of rain is expected for the coast of Vietnam. Very heavy rainfall from this next system. That could be very damaging for there. That's going to be a real problem. Okay, yeah, so 80 inches of rain being forecasted by the European run. That's insane. How much millimeters is that? I'll check real quick. Let's see, 80 inches to millimeters. That's a lot, though. I can tell you that. That's over 2,000 millimeters of rainfall being forecasted. That would be catastrophic. Yeah, that's more than Melissa. Yes. So that's something they're going to be wanting to watch out for. Now, let's discuss additional rainfall totals. How much additional rainfall is expected to fall on the various model runs? Let's go to the next 7-day forecast here. On 7 days from here. There we go. So, portions of the Philippines only up to around 150 millimeters of additional rainfall. on the European run, and parts of Taiwan could see up to 400 millimeters of rain, and a portion of the Ryukyu Islands up to 200 to 300 millimeters of rain possible there. See, American run, what is it showing? Only rainfall totals of additional amounts of up to 100 is possible for the portions of the Philippines. Taiwan could see rainfall totals of over 300 millimeters, and portions of the Ryukyu Islands could see rainfall totals of over 200 millimeters of rain. Looking at the German run and what it is showing, rainfall totals in the South China Sea could peak over 900 millimeters. Along the east coast of Taiwan, not as much, only up to around 100 to 200 millimeters rain, and the same is true for the Ryukyu Islands, although some pockets could be 200 to 300 millimeters. Fortunately, it looks like Hong Kong doesn't really get much in the form of rain here. It's more so going to be a wind threat there. Speaking of wind, let's discuss the rainfall or the wind accumulations. How strong is the wind going to get? This is the European run. This is the American run over here. Loads. Yep, there's the American run, and then this would be the German run. Let's see which is doing the best job at intensity. I think the European, or either European or German run is doing the best. I'd say the German run most likely. So Hong Kong seeming up winds of up to 60 kilometers an hour. Additional wind gusts of up to 130 kilometers an hour is possible for the west coast of the Philippines. And at Taiwan, only up to around 90 kilometers an hour, and in between China and Taiwan, up to 120 kilometers an hour. Gusts in the east or South China Sea could be up to 270 kilometers an hour. And the Ryukyu Islands and Sakishima Islands are around the 60 to 70 kilometer an hour range. Now, I did want to look at the extreme forecast, just seeing what extreme weather is happening right now across various regions. So the Philippines is experiencing a heat wave, looks like. Right now, that's not great. In terms of record cold, they're record cold almost for portions of India, Western India. Anything else stands out? Cold in the United States. And then if we go to tomorrow, again, record-breaking heat possible for portions of the northeastern Philippines. India is a little bit cold, same with southern Australia. And the United States, well, record-breaking cold looks like. Yeah, record-breaking cold is expected to impact Florida tomorrow, Monday into Tuesday. And that's mainly going to be a Tuesday event. I'm not quite sure as to how this works when it says specific days. We'll try to get the Florida Storm Chasers to know about that. This graph, this thing is pretty helpful. They could use that. In terms of, let's see, the next day after that, this would be then on Tuesday. Record-breaking heat for the Philippines there. Again, India is cold. Florida is cold. And then looking at to Wednesday. Anything else popping up? Ooh, Morocco. Around Morocco and northern Algeria and record-breaking heat expected there. Anything else that really pops up my eyes? Anything around the poles, that's going to be more extreme. India, though, very cold. And then same for Friday and Saturday, looks like. Okay. So very cold, interesting. Not record-breaking, though. Now let's discuss the winds here. Of course, winds are going to be pretty much record-breaking for the system in the South China Sea. That makes sense. Such a strong typhoon. Anything else too windy? Not really. Now let's discuss rainfall here. Anything in red is going to be record-breaking. So, of course, record-breaking is expected for portions of the South China Sea there, and then going into Monday, not as much record-breaking area because the averages then, it's mainly an average there, so it becomes more and more uncertain. It's due to accuracy there. It's just a little bit less there, but very heavy rainfall impacting portions of Taiwan and China there. And let's see if anything else pops up as anything too extreme. Looks like Vietnam's going to be on the drier side the middle of the week, before then picking up in more rain there. Anything else that pops up? Not really. Maybe southern Africa. But I mean, we're potentially looking at a catastrophic flooding event in Vietnam. That does include Da Nang, so they need to be watching this closely. Fortunately, we still have a lot of time to watch it. Right now, looking at the Google AI Ensemble members, because we had a question here. Will it make landfall in Taiwan as a low-end tropical storm or not? In terms of the probability of it making a landfall, let's see, does every Ensemble member show a landfall? Yes, every Ensemble member on the Google AI members are showing a landfall in the system as a, looks to be around moderate tropical storm, moderate or weak tropical storm. Now let's see, what I'd probably want to show you all is going to be now the latest forecast from Pagasa. What are they showing? I will show you all as I refresh their page. Is this right? Okay, yes, I think this is correct. Yes, okay. Please work. Alright, so the system is still a typhoon, and interestingly enough, they are forecasting it to potentially make landfall in Taiwan as a typhoon. That's a possibility, it seems like, on here. Again, the area of at least strong winds does include western Visayas, Masbate, those regions, the entirety of Luzon, the main island of Luzon, Mindoro, the Babuan Islands, and the Batanes Islands there, and southern Taiwan now getting in that area of at least strong winds. Areas of at least storm force winds does still include the northwestern Luzon, including Ilocos Sur, Ilocos Norte. This would be La Union, including Pangasinan, Zambales, those regions in this area of at least storm force winds. So they are expecting it to exit the Philippine area of responsibility by tonight as still a typhoon, and still on Tuesday and Wednesday, still a typhoon. That's pretty interesting to see them forecasting that. Are they predicting continuous weakening? Yes, they are forecasting gradual weakening, looks like. Now, in terms of signal warnings, let's open that up on here. The latest signal warnings. Signal 1 warnings are in effect for portions of. Let me just open this up so I know what I'm talking about. It does include portions of western Visayas, including, or as well as northern Mimaropa, the northwestern portions of northern Samar, Masbate, as well as the Bicol region, and southern portions of Calabarzon and Mindoro are in that Signal 1 warning category, including the Batanes Islands, looks like. Signal 2 warnings are in effect for northern Camarines Norte, northern Quezon, northern Mindoro, Batangas, Laguna, Cavite, Metro Manila, Rizal, Bulacan, Batan, Pampanga, southern Zambales, southern Tarlac, southern Nueva Ecija, as well as the entirety of Aurora, Carino, eastern Isabela, the entirety of Cagayan, northern Apayao, northern Ilocos Norte, and all of the Babuan Islands under that Signal 2 warning. Signal 3 warnings are still in effect for northern Zambales, northern Tarlac, northern Nueva Ecija, as well as southeastern Pangasinan, the entirety of the eastern portions of Nueva Vizcaya, eastern portions of Ifugao, eastern portions of Mountain Province, the entirety of Kalinga, northern Abra, southern Apayao, southern Ilocos Norte, and northern Ilocos Sur are under Signal 3 warnings. Areas under Signal 4 warnings include the northern coast of Pangasinan, as well as the northwestern peninsula, as well as the entirety of Benguets, western Ifugao, western Mountain Province, southern Abra, southern Ilocos Sur, and the entirety of La Union are in that Signal 4 warning category. Okay, now let's discuss the storm surge threat now. What areas are expected to see what kind of storm surge? This was their latest warning as of 8 a.m. 1 to 2 meters of storm surge is expected for portions of western Visayas, northern western Visayas, as well as parts of northeastern Mimaropa, the southern coast of Calabarzon, northern coast of Quezon there, and Metro Manila is in that 1 to 2 meter category, and as well as the Bay of Pangasinan. I'm curious what that's called. If that's called, that would be interesting. Bay of Pangasinan. Anyways, 2 to 3 meters of storm surge is expected in this orange color. That does include the coast of Isabela, Aurora, Quezon, parts of Quezon at least, and southeastern Quezon as well as the western coast of Antique, as well as western Mindoro, large portion of Palawan, interestingly enough, as well as the coast of Batan, and the coast of Zambales, and portions of Pangasinan and La Union are in that 2 to 3 meter storm surge category. Areas that are expected to see over 3 meters of storm surge does include the northwestern coast of Pangasinan, as well as the west coast of La Union, Ilocos Sur, the entirety of the coast of Ilocos Norte and Cagayan, as well as the Batanes Islands and the Babuan Islands are under that over 3 meters of additional or of storm surge expected. Now let's talk rainfall. How much additional rainfall is expected to fall from the system? Well, their weather advisory number 13 is out. This was as of 5 a.m. 5 a.m. is when they issued this forecast here. See if I can. Okay, there we go. Areas that are expected to see 50 to 100 millimeters rain does include Western Mindoro, Quezon, Batangas, as well as Laguna, Cavite, Metro Manila, Bataan, Rizal, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, Aurora, Carino, Nueva Vizcaya, Ifugao, Isabela, Cagayan, Batanes and Babuan Islands, Apayao, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Abra, and Kalinga on that 50 to 100 millimeter range. Areas that are expected to see additional 100 to 200 millimeters of rain does include La Union, Benguets, as well as Pangasinan and Zambales. And I'm curious what rainfall warning is in effect, if there is any rainfall warnings. I'm going to check on their X page. Let's see, okay, that's from 12 hours ago. Let me just refresh it. Okay, this was as of 8 a.m. today. Looking at their latest rainfall warning, issued raining warning number 10. Orange warning is in effect for the coast of Zambales, and the yellow warning is in effect for Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, Bataan. It also includes Metro Manila, Rizal, Laguna, and portions of Quezon, as well as Batangas and Cavite. Rainfall is also light to moderate rains are affecting portions of Quezon as well. So things are gradually calming down, okay? You've gone through the worst of it if you're in the Philippines. And yes, now let's answer some questions on the system. Scroll up. What else? Is the stream laggy for you all? Is the stream... Yep, sorry, I was just testing. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's laggy. Sorry about that. I know I just played the audio again. Yes, thank you for mentioning Melissa. If you guys haven't already seen it, the animation on Hurricane Melissa is now released, so you can go check it out on the YouTube channel. All right, what other questions? Let's see what else. Yeah, an active stream. Yeah, pretty windy in Bulacan. Yeah, that makes sense. It's been a bad week for the Philippines in regards to tropical cyclones. Hopefully there will be a little break for them from now. Hopefully. I did notice that there was a little bit of a suspicious signal popping up on the European AI model after this system impacting the Cebu region, the western Visayas region as well. There's another signal that's been emerging. That isn't until late November, though. There's going to be another tropical wave that moves through in the middle of November and another one in late November. That one in late November could become a concern, but I'll have more updates on that over a while. But will it make landfall in Taiwan as a tropical storm? It looks most likely that it will be making landfall there as a tropical storm. In Taipei, Taiwan right now, when do you expect the storm to be the worst? Good question. I will pull up that area. In terms of what impacts could they be seeing, they are expected to see, let's see, Taipei is on the western portion, so marginal impacts. Looks to be like the worst day of impacts is going to be on Wednesday and Thursday. With the gustiest conditions happening at around Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, with wind gusts of over 90 kilometers an hour possible there. Rainfall totals in Taipei vary from the various model runs. European showing 130 millimeters, American run is showing 210, and the German is showing around 100. So 100 to 210 millimeters are possible there. In the China coastline near Taiwan, will the typhoon graze it or pass it? I think it will pass. It looks like it could get a little bit close for comfort. I'm not expecting a landfall in China. It should stay away from the coast of China, but still delivering marginal impacts in some of those outer rain bands. Peak animation, thank you, Typhoon Lover. Well, honestly, that seems like it's about it for this live stream. Seems like there's not many questions. Let me just double check on X if there's any questions there. I mean, I'd have to refresh this. My apologies. My computer's been through it. My desktop just have had it on for over 24 hours now. Yep, don't see any questions there. Okay. So yeah, pretty short live stream. Not the quickest one, but it's fairly quick. And let's hope we're not going to have to do another one. In terms of additional live streams, there could be 1 to 2 more. I'd only expect 1 more at this point because the code level is going to be probably downgraded quite a bit. Mainly, there's going to be either one tomorrow morning or the morning after that, and then it should be done. One of those two. So I'd say 1 to 2 more stream, or one stream is pretty much 0 to 2 streams are likely with the system. Okay, something with that. 0 to 2 additional live streams. This may be the last live update. But we might have an update either tomorrow or what day of the week is it even? For you all, it's Monday, so then maybe Tuesday or Wednesday morning there could be another live stream. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next update. Stay safe.